Hey there! If you're interested in having one of your pieces critiqued by me on my channel, then all you have to do is post your comment underneath the pinned section with a link to your drawing. That's all. Now please enjoy this video and don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe with notifications turned on. Hello everyone, this is Alexander here, and as always, welcome to my newest art review video. In this 11th episode, I'll be checking out 5 different pieces on DeviantArt. Now that the introduction is over, let me carry on to the video. The first picture I'll be checking out is a deviation titled Last Warning, which was done by this fellow artist. One of the things that impacted my vision the most was the appearances of the characters and their given situation. From my point of view, it looks like a young child who is hanging upside down while her hair is touching the other character's head. By the way, I find the whole contrast between these two to be very straightforward, where the young girl appears to be joyful and full of life, while the other possesses to be very tired and slightly down. And the main reason why I said slightly is because he actually has a grin on his face, which indicates that he still has some spirit in him, even though he looks like a member from My Chemical Romance. But seriously though, the differences between these two characters are easily separable. By the way, I do want to mention that I find the artist's techniques in this drawing to be quite charming, especially with her use of coloring. I do have one minor complaint about the background, since it's difficult for me to quickly identify this area, since it's revealed to be very blurry. But again, I can deeply tolerate this since illustrating backgrounds can be a real hassle. Next picture I'll be covering is a illustration titled Older Arashi, which I forgot to post, by Mindfreaka. Looking at this picture, I can say that this piece happens to be a digital drawing that was done from one of these art programs. If I were to rate the originality of this character, I would probably give it a 3.5 out of 5 based on the overall design. I know that the artist has mentioned that she's still learning about line art, shading, body proportions, and other things as well, but surprisingly I find both the shading and possibly the line art to be quite engaging. Anyways, I do want to discuss about the water that is surrounding the character's body. The way it's illustrated seems a bit unfinished. Don't get me wrong, I do find the small transparency on this one to be quite fitting, but I preferably would go with a more solid-like texture, especially since the event is taking place during the night. Moving forward, I have another picture that features a fan drawing of Enid from OKKO Let's Be Heroes, which happens to be an animated series from Cartoon Network that was also created by Ian Jones Cordy. Heading back to the drawing, I do want to talk about the art style itself, where it does resemble to the show's original design, well, at least Enid's head to be exact. I will give Mr. Bruiser Punch some points on the clean outlines and coloring. But of course, her body is not 100% accurate, since her legs are very gigantic, and especially in the calf area. Also, one of her biceps appears to be quite larger than her other one. And one more thing I do want to discuss are her other exaggerated features on her body that looks very strange. If the artist's intention was to go for a more cartoonish approach, then that's very understandable. But in some cases where a cartoon character is depicted in a very heavy muscular tone, they were actually crafted in a more realistic way, like this one, that one, and including this image for some freakish reason. Alex, cry! Still, it looks okay, but I know a lot of people will have some different opinions on this type of subject. Next picture is a traditional drawing that was done by B. Brown David, who happens to have a picture of a female character that is depicted in an anime/manga art style that has the word thank you written on the paper. I've actually speculated that the word thank you was also written in Japanese as well, but with my quick trip to Google Translator, I've later discovered that these two words actually have a different meaning. Honestly, I don't know the exact translation between these two, but that's not important now. So the character itself looks okay, but there are certain sections that I do want to point out. Starting with her hand, the position is placed correctly, but her forefingers could have been drawn more properly. Also, her open eye is very close to the side of her face. In this case, I would recommend moving that eye away from that section within a few centimeters. Also, her hair appears to be quite messy, especially with her bangs. But I'm not going to go to a deeper, further analysis with this one since many types of hairs comes in various styles. So there's a possibility that her hair is actually meant to be drawn this way. Still, a lot of improvement can be made with this one. For the last drawing, I'll be reviewing a piece of fan art from Twisty Moo. On this page, the artist has actually drew Shiro from Voltron Legendary Defenders. Also, he even added Shiro's black lion on one of his shoulders. Overall, the detail in this drawing looks really acceptable, and I like how he stuck with the original art style. Of course, it's not completely accurate to the series, but it still looks decent nonetheless. Furthermore, I do want to mention some certain things that has caught my attention. Basically, I've noticed that Shiro's shoulders are not leveled precisely. I suggest creating a line across the canvas to make sure that his shoulders are even. Additionally, the coloring looks very gracious, but I recommend sticking with one particular way to shade, since I've noticed a few areas where there's cell shading and even soft shading occurring. Lastly, if I was the artist, I would decrease the size of the logo so that it won't interact with the drawing. Overall, all I can say that it looks really good. Now that's over, I do want to say thank you for watching this far and be on the lookout for any future videos that I'll be posting on my channel. Just as I mentioned before in the beginning, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.